Your motorcycle is running horrible. Your experience is off. Your fuel consumption, total garbage. And this is the reason why. Welcome back to Two Wheels Paradise. My name, as usual, is Meshach, and today our discussion is all about these things. You know what they are? You know what they are? I'm very, very sure you have seen these things somewhere. If you own a motorcycle, no matter the size, no matter the brand, you have these things in your engine. Maybe one, maybe two. Some people have three, others have four, and others have as many as 6, depending on the number of cylinders that you have. To start with, these are called spark plugs. Spark plugs. The discussion about spark plugs is something I have promised for a couple of weeks, but I did not find time to do this video. But today, I have gotten the time that I've been looking for to do this. Spark plugs. It is the most important component in your motorcycle combustion. But how do they work? Are they different? Can you choose any and use in your engine? Why do I have so many of them here? Are these ones good or are they dead? This is the discussion I want us to have. Take a second, hit that subscribe button down there. Let's do this. And also remember the bell icon for notification so that next time when a video like this comes up, at least you get a notification that something nice has just landed on your most favorite YouTube channel, the Two Wheels Paradise. Spark plugs. These things are made of different materials from tip to tip. They have different materials in them. If you look at this part, this is ceramic. Ceramic. Almost like the material that makes bowls and plates. Ceramic cups, jugs. This one. We have a lot of utensils that have this material. But down here, we have a metallic material. And it's not the same with what we have at the end of it. They're different. This is also different. In your motorcycle, your engine is the most important part. For the engine to run, it requires 3 things. Number 1, there has to be fuel. Fuel. And the fuel we are talking about is petrol. Motorcycles use petrol. If you find a diesel one, it is modified, not a factory setup. Modified. So we have fuel. Second, we have air. There must be air. It's not negotiable. There must be air and clean air. Number 3, there must be spark. Engines run with explosions in a process called combustion. Explosions happen when fuel mixes with air and a spark is drawn into it. Just the same way you can light up a matchstick and throw it near some exposed petrol. It is going to explode. That explosion is what happens inside your engine, especially for the motorcycles that we use mostly, the 4-stroke. 4-stroke means, let me take a different direction for a minute and explain 4-stroke. 4-stroke engines happen to have a crankshaft that revolves 4 times before it can complete the process of combustion. The first movement is called the intake. You have a valve that opens up, blows fuel that is mixed with air into the combustion chamber. Okay? The second revolution is called compression. Piston goes down the cylinder and then comes up and presses the air that is mixed with the fuel that has just been released by the valve. It compresses it to create such a tough condition that the next thing that can happen is only explosion. It compresses air that is combined with fuel to a point it is going to explode. But for it to explode properly, there has to be spark. And that is where these things come in. So the third revolution is called the explosion. Okay? Then the 4th stroke, we're talking about 4-stroke. The 4th stroke is called the exhaust, where all the burnt fuel turns into waste gases. It has to move out of the engine through the exhaust pipe. And that's where the other valve, the exhaust valve, opens up, gives a gap for whatever is being ejected out to move. So when we have the explosion, this one must be there and it must work. To start with, let me show you what I have here. I have a lot of these things in my hands, a lot of them. They are different. If you look at this, it is different from this. They are not even the same size. They're not even the same size. Even their heads are not the same. Same with this. They're not the same. Meaning, these things are different and they are very specific to the engine they are supposed to be used. For instance, the one that is trying to run away from me is from a company called Bosch. Bosch. And it is meant for BMW. A Bosch, and this is a Platinum Plus. This one is from NGK, and this is called CR9E. It has a number here, CR9E. This one is from NGK, called DR8EA. DR8 and CR cannot work in the same engine. They can't. This one is a Platinum plug. Remember we had Platinum Plus? Platinum. This is higher than this in terms of capacity and where they're supposed to be used. These are the most expensive plugs you can find in the market, the Platinums. Let me tell you, we have 3 types of plugs. We have copper, the basic plugs that we use called copper. They have a copper material inside it. The electrode that runs from here to here is copper, the most basic and the cheapest. Then we have iridium. Let me get this one. We have iridium. This is iridium. If you look at the tip, this is like a needle. The copper one is not a needle. After the iridium, then we have the platinum. So in every group, we have different variations. Platinum plus, double platinum, we have iridium, double iridium, a lot of them. Platinum is the most expensive, followed by iridiums, and then we have the copper. They are different. Okay, they are different. The copper ones, or the basic ones, run very well with basic engines. The normal motorcycles that we use, low capacity, low performance, they run very well with these ones. And also the carburetor bikes, they run very well with these ones. The iridium runs on mostly high performance motorcycles like superbikes. Okay, superbikes, bikes that require a lot of explosions. A lot of explosions. High revving motorcycles. Top speeds, high revs, they require these ones. They run very well and they are very good in fuel economy. Very good in fuel economy. The platinums, these are for special bikes. I'm talking about special bikes in terms of the expensive bikes. Very, very expensive bikes. They run on engines that are made very, very special. For instance, the BMWs. For this one from Bosch, it's even labeled BMW. They are already telling you where you are supposed to use this one. And if you look at this, it is different from this. This has some kind of screws, threads. This one is not. Again, see this one. BMW, this is from NGK. This is from Bosch. But both of them have the same heads, meaning you can use them straight in the same motorcycle. But looking at the two I have here, they are not from the same bike. The same bike. But the cups are the same. Enough with introductions. Now, before we go, we have this one called Datco, the cheapest in this list. This one is around 150 shillings. It runs very well on the basic borders. It's good for fuel economy. As you can see, it has 3 pins over here. This is the iridium of the low capacity bikes. Some kind of iridium. It has some behavior like an iridium, but it's not long lasting. Not long lasting. And the iridium ones can go as long as 50,000 kilometers. This one will only give you like 1,000 at most. This one is around 1,800, 1,800 on Kenya shillings. This one. It can give you 40,000 to almost 50,000, depending on how your engine is running. These ones will go to 100,000 kilometers. You install this one, forget about plugs for the next 5 years. This one. These ones are very expensive. I want us to ask the question of why do I have all these things? These ones are dead. All of them are dead. And I'm going to show you how you can tell they're dead. First things first, What makes the spark plug fail? And how can you tell that they have failed? Spark plugs fail because of mostly three reasons. One, contaminated fuel. Spark plugs are only supposed to operate in petrol condition. Petrol. And clean, pure petrol. Clean, pure petrol. If you subject these ones to contaminated fuel, they are going to fail. If you mix kerosene, paraffin, whatever you call it, with petrol, be very sure plugs are going to fail. They are not designed to work with such conditions. They are very, very fuel sensitive. Very, very fuel sensitive. If you put diesel in your petrol engine, among the items that will fail definitely is these guys. They're going to fail. If you put water into your fuel, you can be very sure these guys are going to fail. So number one, contaminated fuel. It makes these guys fail very fast. Number two, a lot of fuel. A lot. If you look at this guy, I don't know whether the camera will see this. It is already wet. This one is already wet. I'm very sure you can see that. It's already wet. This one has failed. And the reason why this one failed definitely is because of too much fuel. From whichever engine it was being used in, there was too much fuel. A lot of fuel that this guy cannot explode. A lot of it. You look at it, it's already dark and it's already wet. A lot of these ones have failed because of the same reasons. They are already wet. Already wet. So too much fuel will make these guys fail. The third issue that kills these guys is too much heat. If your engine is overheating, these guys are going to fail. They are very, very heat sensitive. And if you look at the numbers written here, these numbers talk a lot about the heat. This one is DR8EA, DR8. Remember the number 8. CR9. Remember the number 9. BKR7. Number 7. D8EA. Number 8. Those numbers are not random. This is Bosch R6. Bosch R6. This is DCPR8ECKC. These numbers are not random. The numbers written here, they are not random. They mean a lot about the heat range. Too much heat will kill these things. It's going to destroy these things. They don't run very well on overheating engines. So you must be very careful with the temperatures in your engine, because too much temperatures will kill these guys. Let's try to tackle the three issues why they can happen and how you can prevent them so that you save these guys, because these guys are expensive. You could find this guy costing 4,000. This one, the Bosch Platinum. You could find them costing as much as 4,000. For you to save these guys, you need to see the three things: too much fuel, contaminated fuel, too much heat. Those three things. Contaminated fuel, just be very sure where you fuel and avoid mixing fuels from different petrol stations if you can. Get one petrol station, fuel from there. Second, avoid fueling from jerry cans, vibuyus, cans, jugs, and getting fuel drained into bottles and then returning it. avoid mixing your fuel with stuff. That's very clear. Let's talk about too much fuel. Why would your engine get too much fuel? Assuming you are running your motorcycle on a carburetor, like myself, I have a 1990 something Honda Transalp, 1996 somewhere around there, Honda Transalp that runs on carburetor. We also have 2024 bikes that still run on carburetors. If you have a carburetor, you must be very sure that carburetor is not overflowing. It's not sending too much fuel. If the jets have issues, the floaters, the diaphragm, there's so many different parts inside the carburetor. You must be very sure they are in good condition, such that the way it is set, it is only sending the required amount of fuel to your combustion chamber, where these guys are. Okay? Make sure your carburetor is running fine. If it is about EFI for bikes with EFI system, be sure that your sensors are regulating fuel properly. The TPS, the throttle position sensors, are regulating fuel properly. The fuel mixture is okay. That's what I'm trying to say. The air and the fuel that mixes and gets into the engine, to the combustion chamber, then waits for this guy to send the spark for it to explode. That ratio must be right. Carburetor tuning, the sensors that work on the EFI system, they must work in good condition. The other suspect is your air filter. If your air filter is clogged, dirty, you can be very sure you will not be getting enough air to mix with fuel to get the right ratio. So if your carburetors are okay, the other suspect is the air filter. Something else, these guys could be getting little than enough electrical power for them to produce spark. These guys are connected to plug cables that get electrical current from another gadget called the ignition coil, the shooting coil. If you have electrical issues, these guys are going to become weak because they are getting weak electrical power. Their main business is to convert electrical power into spark for explosion. That's what they do. Convert the electrical power that they get from your shooting coil, from your battery, all the way, they convert it into spark. So if they are not getting enough, they will not spark enough. So you could be having issues with carburetor or your EFI system, your air filter, all electrical issues. So if these guys are not working fine, but your carb is okay, your EFI system on the other side is okay, air filter is okay, if the other things are okay and these guys are not working properly, you could either be running on the wrong one. This is D8EA, maybe you are running on D7 or D9, could be running on the wrong one, or it is not getting enough power to run, or you have a fake one, because we also have fake ones, and I want to show you one. I have a guy here. Yes, I got this one. I want you to see this. This is reading DCPR7E from NGKR. DCPR7E. But this plug is fake. And this is how you can tell this is a knockoff. This is a knockoff, a fake spark plug. I want you to see this. There is this ring. See this ring? It's a metallic gasket that is supposed to sit here. Because when you install this one, it is supposed to be tight enough to prevent compression from running away. when the explosion is happening, when the combustion process is happening, you're not supposed to have any air or whatever it is getting out of the engine into the environment. This is a gasket and it is not supposed to move out, but this one is moving. Let me show you. This one has a gasket. See this ring? This one is not moving out. Even if you move it around, it will still move around this point where it is, but it can't get out. So if a plug is allowing this thing to get out, this is fake. Very, very fake. It's garbage. So you could learn into those things. Let's talk about overheating. Engines overheat because of a lot of reasons. And too much fuel is one of the reasons. So your engine could be overheating because there is so much fuel getting sent into the combustion chamber. Or truly true. Again, we go back to the same discussion of air-fuel mixture ratio. If it is not running fine, your engine will overheat. If too much fuel is sent into your combustion chamber, your plug turns black, sometimes wet. Telling you, it is not burning everything that is sent there. If too little fuel is getting into the engine, we get into a condition called lean mixture. Too much fuel is called rich, too little is called lean. Lean mixture. Your plug will come out looking white at the top. Dry white, which is very dangerous to the engine. Dry white. Okay? Dry white. You should avoid that one. If the air mixture ratio is not okay, you get either black wet or dry white. But either of the two conditions, there is too much heat. These guys are going to fail. The other issue is these things do not work very well. With an engine that is burning oil. If your engine is burning oil for some reason, these things do not work very well. So in the three reasons I gave you, too much fuel, too much heat, contaminated fuel, the reasons why these guys can fail, you should add the fourth one, oil. If your piston rings are dead or valve seals are cracked, they are letting oil into the combustion chamber. This guy is going to burn oil and they are going to fail. And looking at this, I can tell my fake spark plug came from an engine that was burning fuel, burning oil. There is a lot of carbon deposit at the top of it. It was burning oil. So oil is also an enemy to these guys. Right. Have you learned something up to this point? Have you learned something up to this point? Talking about overheating engines, you should check your cooling system. If you are running on an engine that has a radiator, check your cooling system. Maybe your radiator is blocked or maybe it is cracked. Some pipes are blocked or something. You should check because temperatures are very, very important when it comes to your engine combustion process. If you find carbon deposits here, it tells you your engine is probably burning oil, or there is too much fuel getting in. Check that one. These things are so many. We have companies like Bosch, like this one. We have NGK, we have Denso, we have Datco, we have Crocodile, and a lot of companies, especially from China, making these things. The best thing for you to do is to check from the manual. If you have a motorcycle manual, and know which one exactly is supposed to work on your engine. Because if you get this thing right, trust me, your rides are going to be very smooth. Fuel consumption is going to be so good. You're going to have very, very enjoyable rides. But if you get these things wrong, you're finished. If you get them wrong, you're finished. Check out for black at the top with carbon. Check out for white. If your spark plug comes out looking like this, you see this brown out here? You see the brown? This one is a sign of overheating engine. This is what I'm talking about, overheating engine. When the engine is too hot, the plug is going to even change color. This one looks like it came from an engine that was running hot and it was overused. A seriously overused spark plug. The iridium one I have in my hand. Can you see this? The yellow ring? This is not right. But because it is iridium, can you see the brown at the top? This spark plug was working. No matter the condition it was subjected to, it should be like this, the brown, not the black. Do you see the difference? The brown is working okay. Even if it was overheating, it was still working okay. It should look like this. This one is not okay. Do you see the difference? We are done here. Spark plugs. Have you learned something? Talk to me in the comments. Tell me what else you want us to discuss next. My name is Meshach. Two Wheels Paradise. God keep you. See you around.